Uh, Good morning, students. In today's class, we'll discuss the optical fiber. In the last class, we have discussed about the lasers, and also we have seen some important types of laser, that is solid laser, ruby laser, helium neon laser. In the same manner, semiconductor laser. So, semiconductor laser and also different applications of the lasers. Now, lasers, how these lasers are utilized for different purposes and for different fields, we have seen in the last class. In today's class, we'll just discuss about the optical fiber. Now, this optical fiber is actually, as you know, that it is a cylindrical shape, transparent dielectric medium, which is designed to guide the visible and infrared light over a long distances. Actually, this is the use of optical fiber. So what is actually the meaning of optical fiber? We'll understand in today's class, and how this optical fiber is very, very important for different communication, for any communication system that we are using today. Optical fiber plays a vital role in transferring the signal, either in the form of visible light or infrared light, right? In the different medias, it is transferring the signal from one end to the another end. So that actually we're going to discuss in today's class, in today's session. So what we can do is that we just start today's class with the introduction of the optical fiber. Now, before we just have a very quick glance of what is actually optical fiber is all about. So, optical fiber is nothing but it is a dielectric media, right? It is a dielectric cylindrical shape, transparent dielectric media. So what is the definition? We just say it is a what you can say, a cylindrical shape, transparent dielectric medium. Optical fiber is a cylindrical shape. It is a shape, cylindrical shape, right? Uh, a transparent dielectric medium. This is very, very important for us to, first of all, before understanding the topic, what actually we are trying to learn, right? We need to understand what is actually the optical fiber is all about. So it is a cylindrical shape, a transparent electric medium, a dielectric medium. So this is a transparent dielectric medium uh, in which the visible and infrared light, which is designed to guide, right? It will guide. Now, this is the first important aspect that you need to understand about the definition of optical fiber. So it will guide, guide, uh, right? The signal, right? It will guide the signal, that is in the form of either guide the visible or infrared rays. That is a signal that is guiding it. So infrared, right? So either it may be infrared light or visible light for long distances, light for long distances, for long distances. This is actually used to guide for the long distances. So now this is called actually the optical fiber. Now, what is the basic principle on which the optical fiber is working? Everybody is aware of the fact. Just now we have gone for the definition. So this is actually a definition of optical fiber. Now we are just going for some principle here. So what is actually the basic principle on which the optical fiber is working? So you are already aware of the fact that it is a total internal reflection. It works on the principle of total internal reflection. This is very, very important aspect for us to understand the basic, what you can say, a design of the optical fiber. So optical fiber works on the principle of total internal refraction. You are having aware of the fact that critical angle of a medium should be greater than the incident angle, then the total internal refraction takes place, right? So what are the condition on which total internal reflections are taking place? So you need to understand the light should travel. So the conditions, you need to understand some important conditions on which the total internal reflection actually takes place in the optical fiber. So now the conditions are nothing but the light ray should travel from denser medium to rarer medium. So light should travel, it should travel from the denser medium to the rarer medium. The light should travel from denser medium, from denser medium to rarer medium. So the light should travel from denser medium to rarer medium. Now, this is the first important condition to total internal refraction to takes place. Then again, the second important condition, the angle of incidence should be greater than, this is very, very important. The angle of incidence should be greater than the angle of incidence, angle of incidence should be greater than, the angle of incidence should be greater than, should be greater than the critical angle of the medium, greater than the critical angle of the medium, critical angle of the medium. Now, I think that you got very clear idea regarding the angle of medium. So now we just started today's class with the introduction of optical fiber, that is chapter 2, unit 5. So definition, we started with definition. It is a cylindrical shaped transparent dielectric medium which will guide the visible or infrared light for long distances. We just call such a thing as the optical fiber. Now, what is the basic principle on which the optical fiber is working? It is total internal reflection. So on what condition this total internal reflection should take place? So now the light should travel from the denser medium to the rarer medium, and also the angle of incidence should be greater than the critical angle of the medium. Now, these are the basic conditions on which the optical fiber works. Now, what you can say that with this information, we'll just move forward to understand what is actually the acceptance angle. So in the previous examination, he's asked us the what is actually the meaning of numerical aperture. Now what is that numerical aperture and what is acceptance angle, which is related to our optical fiber. So in the examination also, he will ask us regarding the acceptance angle and the numerical aperture of the optical fiber. So before understanding this acceptance angle and the numerical aperture, numerical aperture of the optical fiber. So the next heading that we are going to start of today's class, very, very important for examination point of view also, acceptance angle and the numerical aperture. So first of all, we need to understand some important schematic diagram, right? We'll just go step by step in calculating this acceptance angle. So what is actually this acceptance angle and how this can be calculated or evaluated, we just see in today's class, right? So now let us consider this is a schematic diagram I'm trying to draw here. So now let us consider this is a cone shape where we just call this as the what you can say, the optical fiber cone, where the light ray will travel from one end to the another end. Now let us consider this as the optic axis. Okay, we'll just clear it such that again I can just redraw it. So now we are trying to go for the acceptance angle and the See, I'm just drawing that schematic diagram again. We are just referring the what you can say, the acceptance angle derivation, right? So let us consider this is the ray, that this is what your optical fiber. Now this is optical fiber. This is optical fiber. We just understand in today's topic what is actually the meaning of optical fiber, right? So we need to understand the basic value of this acceptance angle. So before starting this, we need to know the uh, ray, how the ray will travel inside the optical fiber. So here you'll find that the light ray is traveling and this angle is considered to be theta A, right? So now the light ray is traveling here. Let us consider this is the axis, right? Schematically, I can draw. See, schematically, I can draw. I will, later, I will just understand, make you understand what is actually happening here. Now, the light ray as it is entering inside the optical fiber. Now, this is happening actually. The light ray will getting reflected. Total internal reflection is taking place. And this is the way how the light ray is traveling inside the optical fiber. Now let us consider this optical fiber is nothing but it is having here there is a cladding here. The light ray will travel inside the, so you already aware that optical fiber is having core and cladding. So this is the core area where you'll find that the light ray will travel inside it. This is the cladding area. Now this is your fiber axis, right? This dotted lines are nothing but fiber axis. So here we just whenever you get this particular instant, there is an angle, formation of angle. Now that angle will be nothing but we just call that as the refraction angle. So this is r theta r. Here I'm just drawing an extra perpendicular bisector wherein you'll find that this is actually theta c. Now this angle is also theta c. Now this is called critical angle. And here you'll find that this is A and this value is B. The end here you'll find B and this is your C and this is your what you can say value D, right? So this is A, this is B, this is C and this is D, and this is you'll find this value as F. Now this is since it is a schematic diagram, right? So before going moving forward, we need to understand what is actually the meaning of refractive index. So refractive index is defined as the velocity of light in vacuum by the velocity of light in the medium. Here the light ray is traveling from the denser medium to the rarer medium. Once we need to understand that. So what is acceptance angle? When we launch the light beam into the fiber, at starting at the entire light may not pass through the core and it will only propagate some of the rays which make the angle of incidence which is greater than the critical angle. So how what you call that is as acceptance angle, the angle at which you'll get the what you can say maximum light enters into the core of the optical fiber is said to be acceptance angle. So numerical aperture is the light gathering capacity of the optical fiber. That is called actually the numerical aperture. So it is the light gathering capacity of the optical fiber. So now whatever the diagram we have drawn, that diagram is actually related to this particular what you can say a cross-sectional view. We have seen a schematically, we have seen that there is a schematical view of the diagram wherein let us consider by seeing the diagram once a student should understand that what he is going to write. So let us consider a cross-sectional let us consider the cross-sectional view. We are just considering by seeing, you can just see this is schematic diagram. So this schematic diagram also you can write that let us consider a cross-sectional view of the optical fiber. Let us consider the cross-sectional view of the optical fiber. Can consider this optical fiber cross-sectional view along the length of the length along the length of the optical fiber. So we are just considering the cross-sectional view of the optical fiber along the length of the fiber, right? Along the length of the fiber. So with refractive indices, just now we have gone for the definition of what is actually the meaning of refractive indices. So with the refractive indices N1 and N2, so this N1 and N2 are the refractive index of core and cladding. This is the core refractive index, and this is the cladding refractive index. And also we need to understand that whenever we are talking about this core and clad refractive index, always the refractive index of core should be greater than the refractive index of cladding. So now, as you have seen here, we'll just again, what we'll do is that we'll clear this. Now we just see that the refractive index, the light ray AB is incident at the air and core interface. So what you can say that let us use the Snell's law here. The light ray is entering from one media to the another media. So by using the Snell's law, we are using the Snell's law. So what the Snell's law says, that says that the refractive index is equal to mu is equal to sin I by sin R. This is the this you have already studied in your lower classes. Employs by means of this, we can write this simple mathematical relation that n0 sin theta A is equal to n1 sin theta R, right? So this particular thing that we can write, this is equation number 1, when n0 is the refractive index of the air and n1 is the refractive index of the core. This you need to understand. By using this Snell's law, we can just write this particular value. Now we just see that what is actually happening at the point C. By seeing the diagram in the later section, we have just seen that at point C, we have seen the schematic diagram also. What is happening? Refraction is taking place. So refraction, the refraction is the light ray is traveling from one medium to the another medium. So refraction takes place at the point C. You need to understand that the refraction is taking place at the point C. So what I can write here, sin theta C is equal to n2 by n1. This is equation number 2. Now we can just write that theta R plus theta C can be equal to 90 degrees. You can just see refer the diagram wherein you'll find that there is a right angle triangle BCF. So this is equation number 3. We can just write this equation number 3. Now what you can write is by using this equation number 1 from equation number 1 or using the equation number 1, what you can write here is that what is equation number 1? n0 sin theta A is equal to n1 sin theta R. This we have written. This is equation number 1. You are aware that what is sin theta R from equation number 3. You can just see equation number 3, n1. So theta R means what you can write here? Theta R can be written as 90 degrees minus theta C. You can just see the equation number 3. You can easily understand what is happening. So n0 sin theta A is equal to sine of 90 minus theta. You will get cos theta. Theta is here, cos theta C. So what I can write here, n0 sin theta A, n0 sin theta A is equal to n1 root of 1 minus sin theta, sin square theta C. So cos theta C can be written as in this particular formula. Why I'm writing this? Since you are having equation number sin theta C is n2 by n1. So now what we'll just substitute that in our equation. So here what I can write, n0 sin theta A, n0 sin theta A is equal to n1. So what I can write here, n1, see, n1 sin theta, n1 into root of 1 minus sin square theta can be written as n2 square minus n1 square, right? You can just see that sin theta C is n2 by n1. So what you can get, n naught sine theta a is equal to, that can be rewritten as, so this can be written as n1 under root of n1 square minus n2 square by n1 square. So here n naught sine theta a is equal to, here what I can write here, n1 directly, since n naught is 1. So since your value n naught is 1 here, so what I can write here, n1 root of n1 square minus n2 square. By simple mathematical step, you'll get n1 here, this and this get cancelled. Since the n naught value, that is the refractive index of air, is 1, so what I can get, sine theta a is equal to root of n1 square minus n2 square. This is what we got. We want actually theta a, right? So theta a will be equal to sine inverse of root of n1 square minus n2 square. Now this is the acceptance angle equation from which we are getting. See, using the Snell's law, what we got, mu is equal to sin I by sin r, n naught sine theta a is equal to n1 sine theta r, we have written, that is equation number 1. So at the point C, you can just see the schematic diagram. So point C, refraction is occurring. So what I can write, sine theta c is equal to n2 by n1, that is equation number 2. So theta r plus theta c is equal to 90 degrees, that is equation number 3. So from the equation number 1, n naught sine theta a is equal to n1 sine theta r, n naught sine theta a is equal to n1 sine, and theta r can be written as 90 degrees minus theta c. So just we are aware of the fact that sine 90 minus theta is cos theta, n naught sine theta is equal to n1 cos theta c. So cos theta can also be written as root of 1 minus sine square theta c. So what is sine theta c? N2 by n1. So we just replace the values of sine theta c in our basic equation, and we got theta a is equal to sine inverse of root of n1 square minus n2 square. That is the acceptance angle. So in the same way, the numerical aperture value can also be obtained, that is sine theta is equal to root of n1 square minus n2 square. That is the expression for the sine theta a. Now, on the basis of refractive index profile, the light propagation in the optical fiber can be done by either it may be reflection or refraction. So here we just see here that due to the basis of refractive, so on the basis of refractive index, refractive index plays a vital role in understanding the light when it is traveling from one medium to the another medium. So on the basis of, we just write on the basis of refractive index, on the basis of refractive index, what you can say on the basis of refractive index. So refractive index profile, on the basis of refractive index profile, we can just the light inside the optical fiber, the light inside the optical fiber is light can be propagated inside the optical fiber. Light in the optical fiber, so light in the optical fiber can be moving forward with either it may be reflection or it may be refraction. So reflection of light will be there, and also you'll find there will be a refraction. So the propagation of the light will be either reflection and the refraction. So the mode of propagation here, so you'll find that there are two types of mode here. You'll get step index optical fiber, the two modes of propagation, and also we'll get a graded index optical fiber. So here there are two types of fibers, mode of propagation inside the optical fiber, either graded index optical fiber or you will get a step index optical fiber. So now this is what actually happen in the optical fiber. So what is graded step index? In the refraction, the refractive index of the core remains constant and the step index optical fiber, and it is dividing step by step. It will divide from n1 to n1. So the core, what you can say that in the step index optical fiber, the core is diameter is very less, due to which the single mode of step index optical fiber, you'll get the what you can say less distraction of the signal. So when the case of the multimode step index fiber, you'll get that there will be width of the core will be more when compared with the single mode optical fiber, and what will happen is that we'll get a distorted signal due to this two path followed by the light ray. So we just call that as intermodal dispersion. So in order to avoid this intermodal dispersion, uh, there was again discovery of graded index optical fiber. So here one you can know that the step index optical fiber is actually divided into two categories here. So what is that two categories? Single mode and the single and the dual mode. This you need to understand. So it has been divided as single mode and dual mode step index optical fiber. So here you'll get a intermodal dispersion, right? Intermodal dispersion. So avoiding this, in order to avoid this intermodal dispersion, there was an invention of the graded index optical fiber, wherein this intermodal dispersion has been, what you can say, rectified in the signal. So in the examination, he will ask you, depending upon the refractive index profile, that is the light ray can be traveled into reflection and refraction. So the optical fiber propagation will be there in the step index and the graded index optical fiber. Now, what you can say that in the next class, we'll just see the other part of the optical fiber. What are the losses of the optical fiber, and what is the double crucible method? So with this, we'll just end today's class. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your patience.